everyone, welcome to Type TV3, and this is the display room, where admission is only a hug. No, seriously, it's $5. Come on, cough it up. You're looking at the stuff, I see it. Cough up the money!
Welcome to TV3. On this week's episode, we'll be checking out a giant pair of robots, a cute little witch, I bought a Gundam, and of course answering some of your comments and questions in the feedback section. As always, if you want to introduce a future episode of TV3, you can always do so by sending in your short little clip to typev3@gmail.com. You can also contact me over Twitter or Instagram and send me your videos there. Also, if I look a little tired or out of it, that's because I am this week. Truth is, I'm recording this video at 5 in the morning and I've got to be at work in a couple of hours. Could I have done this earlier? Probably, but the truth is, I've just got poor time management skills because The Legend of Zelda: The Breath of the Wild has consumed my life and I have forgot to do a lot of my regular responsibilities, including this video. You see, it is Tuesday morning as I'm recording this because I completely forgot that Monday had passed. Time is this. I don't even know what time is anymore. All I know is that Zelda is great and my life is very, very good right now. Alright, so it's a light news week this week, but hey, there's still a couple gems out there, and first up is a small little Gundam. This is the HG Ground Battle Gundam S-Type from Gundam Thunderbolt. This is a cool little grunt suit. You see, I like a lot of the Thunderbolt designs. However, I don't really like the main hero suits. I don't like the Psycho Zaku, and I don't like the Full Armor Gundam because I feel like they were just a little too over-designed. Like, they just went a little too far, and the designer just didn't know when to stop. That's why I really like the grunt suits in this series. They have just that extra little bit of flair and look pretty awesome while still having, we'll say, some modesty to them. Case in point, this Ground Battle Gundam. I love the boosters on its rear back. They're huge, but they don't take center stage, and I like the realistic aesthetic of Thunderbolt. The feet are a bit wonky, but I'll forgive for that. Regardless, I think this is a cool design. I'm not into grunt suits, but this is one that's definitely caught my eye, and I'll probably be checking out when it comes out in May. Alright, keeping on the giant robot front, there are two statues from Prime 1 Studios, and the first one has really caught my attention. This is the EVA Unit 01 from Evangelion, of course. This is the purple and neon green one, the iconic one, the one that everybody knows and recognizes, and the best one of them all. Definitely looks cool. This is a 30-inch tall statue. I'll save you the boring details. Like, it's going to come with a lot of stuff. You could display with a lot of stuff, but the pose they chose is perfect. He's running through Neo Tokyo, and it looks incredible. That's how I always envision Unit 1 in my mind, and with it being 30 inches tall, it's going to be one awesome display piece. Of course, there is one caveat, and that is the price tag. Now, get ready. It's $1,200. Yup, that definitely puts it out of my comfort zone and my budget, but hey, if you're an EVA fan, this is definitely the way to go. And like, honestly, like, just as a side note, I know I do toys and stuff, and statues aren't my thing, but lately I've been coming around and starting to think that, like, when it comes to the really, really big toys, like really awesome display pieces, I'm kind of more into statues nowadays. Like, for example, see this Devastator here? He's really cool, but the thing about big toys and toys that have to deal with articulation and whatnot, well, physics comes into play. At some point, just keeping an arm up requires a lot of effort, and sometimes these joints don't hold because the thing just has too much mass. And I just want to put a giant toy in an awesome pose and then leave it there. When it comes down to it, putting a giant toy into an awesome pose kind of stresses the joints on a toy, kind of weakens it, and then you have to worry about things like, what if this was not made of playable plastic when it comes to, like, say, the giant Metacom Evangelions with that skin suit thing? Like, those things have wear and tear. And so at the end of the day, when it comes to just giant, really awesome toys and stuff, statues are kind of where I'm leaning towards to nowadays. Kind of strange, I know. Keeping on the Prime 1 Studios front, the other thing they have that announced that I thought was semi-interesting was the VF1J that you all know from Macross as it's the iconic Valkyrie. However, This is not from Macross. This is licensed under Robotech. And, you know, I love Macross. I don't think all of it is great, but I think it does have some cool, very good series and some great moments. But I will always say, do not support anything with the thing that says Robotech on it. It is just wrong. It is morally wrong. Just don't do it. And the truth is, if you have the budget to buy one of these giant Prime 1 Studio statues that are well above the $1,000 mark, then you have more than enough money to buy some expensive Macross thing from Japan and support the actual source. Don't go for this Robotech bullshit. But hey, that's my PSA. I'll drop it. Let's move on. Okay, the last one is from probably, you know, when I think about it, my favorite series from Studio Trigger, and that is Little Witch Academia. This is Nendoroid Akko, our heroine from the series, and it is just the cutest thing. I mean, it's in her witch outfit, and she's got all these cute little accessories with her, and what can I say? It's adorable, and I really want it. Don't get me wrong, I love Kill la Kill. I also love Space Patrol Luluco, but Little Witch is kind of like that perfect balance of entertainment and fun and hyperactive joy that I seek out when I watch anime. It's like that perfect blend. I will say that the anime isn't perfect, and it's got its, you know, low spots and high spots, but overall, on balance, it's probably the most entertaining thing to come out of Studio Trigger, and I want to try and support it every way I can. So definitely gonna try and pick this up when it comes out. So this week's been a light week in terms of purchases too, but I did get something in the mail that I've been super excited for. It's finally here, and I got the 1/100 Barbatos Lupus Rex. Now, I gotta say, we gotta talk about this box, alright? So, I love packaging design, and I really like the idea that they have this limited edition run that comes with the stand, has this cool little red border on the bottom. I think that's super cool. I think it's slick and awesome. But the other side of my brain is kind of like, this box doesn't close. What the F? Why doesn't it close? And it crushes me. And wait, hold on. I just noticed this right now. There's artwork on the bottom of this box. That's pretty cool. Oh my. I can't believe that totally passed me by. That's super surprising because the truth is, this is an empty box. Yeah, I'm in the middle of painting this kit, and I can't believe I just noticed that there's printing on the bottom of this thing. So that's really neat. Okay, well, look forward to the review coming this week. Alright, first comment this week comes from Sulfan00. Type B3, who is your waifu? I believe I answered this question way back when in my first Q&A vlog, and back then I said it was Yoko Littner from Gurren Lagann. It still is, but I suppose, hey, this is a perfect opportunity to change things up because, hey, I like different characters depending on the mood, and let's see, today I'm wearing blue, so who has blue hair? I like Sayori's mom. She's a cutie. Type B3, what's your favorite mobile suit from Mobile Suit Gundam or UC? I've always been very partial to Zeta Gundam. I really like Zeta Gundam. I like the Hyakushiki as well. I also really love Unicorn, but I like Unicorn in Unicorn mode, not when it's got all the exposed panels. I just love the whole idea of an all-white mobile suit, minimal detailing, and a giant horn out the front of its head. I don't know why, but I dig the simplicity of it. I really like your Robot Spirits and Chogokin reviews, but it seems you haven't reviewed one of those for a while now. Do you have any plans to grab one in the future? That's a very good question. I love Chogokin stuff. I love, you know, any toy action figure with metal. I still am very, very interested in. I love, but lately, there just hasn't been anything that's caught my attention. There's just not a lot of things that I'm super into. As for Robot Spirits is very tough because, like, don't get me wrong, Robot Spirits, if you just want Gundams in, like, the high-grade scale, those are the ways to go if you want just, like, the absolute perfect representation, but their price is always just a little bit too high for me to want to buy them regularly. That said, I do have a couple Robot Spirits reviews lined up. I'm probably going to do all of the G Gundam ones, so I hope to get that done at some point in the future. You're goddamn wrong asks, I want to know, do you enjoy painting Gunpla? The short answer, no, I actually don't. Now I know I'm going to get a ton of comments asking me what the explanation is, and so I'm going to give it to you. Let's go way back to when I'm a small boy. Growing up, I've always been fascinated with being fast, and then as I got older, it was like, I gotta be efficient. So my whole life has been this, like, I gotta be the first in a race, I gotta be the first one to finish my homework, but I also gotta be the one to do it with the least amount of effort and get the most amount done. And that's why, like, nowadays, I try to be crazy about being being super fast at doing tasks and also multitasking. And painting, just painting in and of itself, goes against my entire mentality. Painting is a test of patience and extreme meticulous detail, and it's about and focus and on a singular thing, and it's just not something that's hardwired into me. I get really frustrated very fast, especially just having to wait for paint to dry. I hate it. I don't like doing that. I hate hand brushing because I'm not good at it, so I have to really focus it. And if I, generally when I'm doing other things like building the kits, it's easy to put on like a show to watch or a podcast to listen to or even an audiobook because I can put half my attention into building the kit and stabbing it together and the other half into listening. When it comes to painting, I have to have my full attention on this thing because I know I don't have quite the talent required, or I haven't practiced enough with a paintbrush to do it. So I get easily frustrated, and I tend to just throw it at the wall or something. And so it's not something that I like doing. Definitely with a lot more practice, I can get better at it, and I'm sure that it'll come with time. But inherently, do I like painting? No. Will I continue to do it and try and improve my skill? Of course. Alex asks, are you thinking of seeing the new live-action Ghost in the Shell movie? Of course I am. I think it looks kind of incredible. The visual style they've adopted seems super faithful to the source material. I remember reading the whole shenanigan about Scarlett Johansson and what Hollywood whitewashing things and stuff. And honestly, I think she's fine for the role. It's not really anything I've seen wrong. I don't know, maybe it's just me growing up as a minority. Even when I watched anime as a boy, this is just an example. When I watched Dragon Ball, I never viewed them as like being Japanese people or Asian people. I always just thought everybody in anime was white because most popular people are. And so maybe that's just me having a poor upbringing and no one telling me about diversity and culture. But yeah, I don't know. It's Hollywood. I mean, what were you going to expect was going to happen? They're going to hire some international actress to do a ticker role? I didn't think that was going to happen. I mean, even in Ghost of the Shell, I don't actually view the Major as an Asian person. I just view her as a female person, or a female body, we'll just say, who's just had features that she picked and chose for herself that she likes. So at the end of the day, I think she's a fine casting, and I think the movie looks very interesting. I have high hopes for it. Am I expecting it to blow me away? No, but I'm definitely interested. iCruise asks, it seems like you have a lot of toys. Where do you keep or display them? In a lot of boxes. I don't have a lot of display room. I mean, I have a couple detolfs here and there scattered about. And then, of course, I have a shelf or two, which, I put on a couple things like some Lego sets and whatnot. And, sometimes every now and then I'll stick a Transformer in the guest washroom so that when people come over, they can have Devastator or Optimus taking a look at them when they're sitting on the toilet, so that's always fun to do. But no, the truth is, I don't have a lot of space, and when it comes to things that I review, sometimes I just put them back in their box, and then I put that box on a shelf. I have an amazing collection of boxes, and a lot of my friends even say, like, wow, Vince, you have a whole room dedicated to boxes, and yet only a couple displays for toys, and I say, yeah, I do. It's kind of sad, but I mean, that's how I like it. I've always thought about having a cool, huge toy room, but the more and more I think about it, the more and more I don't want that. I don't know. The idea of just having like one or two select display shelves where I can pick out, things that I want to show off every monthly or rotate is just more appealing to me. Having a giant toy room is not really something I want to do. Unless I get super rich and I can make a museum. That would be cool, but that's not going to happen. Jesse has a huge comment, but basically he wants to know, what's my favorite weapon from Monster Hunter? And if I play Generations, what's your favorite style and art? And favorite monster? Okay, cool. My favorite weapon, I started with 3, so I always liked the Switch Axe. And from there, I've always loved the transforming weapons. Switch Axe has always been my number 1 go-to. 4 happened, and I moved on to the Charge Blade because the idea of a sword and shield and then turning into an axe was just too cool to pass up, so I mained that for a while. In Generations, it was half of the time I went Charge Blade, half the time I went Switch Axe. As for my favorite art, well, it depends. With the Switch Axe, I'm usually Striker, because with my friends, I have one who does Sword and Shield with the Dread Queen set for the status stuff, and then I have another one who just sticks with the Insect Glyph for aerial, so I'm just left with huge DPS, which puts me at Switch Axe Striker. Very fun. The other thing I do is Charge Blade with the I think it's Evasion. I don't know what it's called, but it's the Evasion one. It's always fun. And my favorite art, I guess, would have to be Absolute Readiness. Favorite monster? I really like Gore Magala or Gormagala. The other thing I like is Zinogre. Zinogre's very cool. He's just a giant wolf. How do you not like that? Do I like kaiju movies, and what's my thought on the shared universe with King Kong and Godzilla? So King Kong and Godzilla, same universe, that's cool. Do I like kaiju movies? They're fine. I don't actively seek them out. I like giant robots. Giant monsters, it's weird, you know? You think that they would be in the same sort of like interest realm, but I don't think they are. I like giant robots. I don't like giant monsters. Strange. Moses D wants to know, want to get your opinion, is Zelda worth buying for the Switch? No. If you just want to play Zelda, just get a Wii U. It's honestly, that's the best way to do it. If you don't have a Wii U and you like video games so much so that video games are your number one hobby and you love Zelda and you want to support the idea of the Switch, then buy Zelda for the Switch. But for most people, don't buy Zelda don't buy the Switch just for Zelda. I wait for a couple more games. That's my honest opinion. Also, the Switch is brand new. You know, it's first generation hardware, and with first generation hardware, you're going to come with a lot of hiccups here and there. It happens all the time. Now, all my life, I've always been first gen. And so I'm ready to take the risk. You know, I remember buying the first iPhone back in, 2006? I remember buying the first MacBook Air, and I remember like hating them, but pretending I loved them. The Switch is probably going to be the same way. I mean, I have no problems with it right now, but something tells me in a couple months when I'm done Zelda and there's no games to play, I'll be like, wow, this is the most regrettable purchase of my life. But at the moment, I'm into it and I like it. So yeah. And that's this week's episode of TV3 over and done with. If you have a question regarding any of the topics discussed in today's episode, feel free to leave it in the comment section below and I'll answer it next week. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got some video games to play.